there is phenomenal research done by Leni Reddyke that looks at the astronomical alignment of the Maltese temples that point to them being aligned to the star Sirius, and that the oldest temple is roughly, according to that alignment, is roughly from 9150 BC. And that we have to do here with a group that built these temples that are connected to Sirius, and that was vital in shaping civilization on Earth. Now, let's look at the last great extinction event. According to science, this is the Younger Dryas area where a sudden cooling happened and an extinction, and this is around 11,000, between 12,000 to 10,000 BC, and actually this exactly corresponds with the official dating for the destruction of Atlantis, which is 9,600 BC, and also the dating of the last great flood in the Akashic records, which is also around 9,600 BC. And when you consider that the oldest temple of Malta has so far been found and identified, so astronomical alignment seems to be from 9,150 BC, we have here a connection between the Maltese temples and the last great extinction event. Mythology tells us that the temples of Gozo, the largest temple of Malta, Gigantea, was supposedly built by a woman, a very tall woman, a giantess, who lived off beans and honey. And her connection to the bees is actually going to come back in one of my later episodes. So the lineage of the temple builders seems to have to do with a lineage of women that worked together with bees and the natural world, and also a lineage that were honoring a vegetarian diet, certain lifestyle. And when I ask in the Akashic records if these were giants, when I looked at the builders in the Akashic records, they were tall, but I could not see that they were giants, though we had giant populations in the Mediterranean and also on Malta, and I will look into their role in a later video when I talk about the dark history of Malta. Giant bones haven't been found on Malta itself. What has been found on Malta are elongated skulls. Was Malta maybe a center for scientific knowledge, a center to reset civilization? And have the temple builders actually been a really advanced civilization? And can we find evidence in the archaeology as well? Now, what we have found, what archaeology has found, is a lot of artifacts that show us that the builders had very advanced astronomical knowledge, to the extent that it was as advanced, if not even more, than ancient Egypt. First and foremost, they tracked the sun and the moon. So we have, especially with Mayanda, we have the solstice and equinox alignment, but also in the other temples, even the temples that are aligned to Sirius, they often have inside rooms also a tracking of an alignment within a side room to the equinox and solstice. We also have found, or archaeologists have found, what they call a moon calendar system. And this moon calendar system tracks the lunar standstill. And there's another site called Chaco Canyon in the United States, another ancient site that also tracks the lunar standstill. And I will show you in another episode that these two locations are actually indeed connected to each other, might have been even built by the same cell group. Another really interesting found in the temples in Malta was the TalQadi tablet, TalQadi stone. The TalQadi tablet is in fact a star map, and it shows the gate of ecliptic, and it can be used to measure the ecliptic latitude of the moon and planets that move along the arc of the ecliptic. And from this, you can calculate the eclipse season and the moon's orbit. Now, we do know that all highly advanced, important civilizations that we have evidence of have tracked actually the eclipses. So we have this in Babylonian Sumeria, we have this in ancient Egypt, we have this in ancient Dryas, we have ancient China, we have this among the Mayas. They all recorded the eclipses. Let's get to what could then be, other than a science center, what could be the purpose of these temples? If we assume that these temples are actually from roughly 10,000 BC, they were built after the last great flood, after an extinction event, and they were built with the purpose to restart civilization. Other than spreading knowledge on agriculture and science, what would you do to restart civilization? You would boost fertility. You would increase the crop growth, you would fertilize seeds, and you would literally boost fertility in the sense that Earth can create new life forms, right? You would work with the DNA, with the ability of Earth to, yes, create new animals, new plants, etc.